She-Hulk's future in the MCU has been uncertain for a while, and a recent interview made it even more confusing, and then I want to talk about it. I want to go over the whole thing. What is happening, why it's happening, and where I think it's going to end up. And the what is that Tatiana Maslany, who played Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, in the Marvel Disney Plus series She-Hulk Attorney at Law, might not be returning in any future Marvel stuff. But then back up, if you haven't seen the She-Hulk show, Tatiana Maslany, who most people probably know from either Orphan Black or those 2 episodes of Parks and Rec where she dated Tom, was in 9 episodes of the She-Hulk Attorney at Law show in 2022. I believe critically, it did pretty well. The reaction to it online was complicated. On one hand, people like me really liked the show. Like, a lot of people thought the show was really funny. You know, pretty much all of it worked for me. Obviously, the effects weren't perfect, but, like, I think more or less they worked. And, like, I would love another season of the show. There were also a lot of people, especially some grifters online, who made videos talking about how She-Hulk was the worst writing ever, cherry-picking examples of things She-Hulk said, and then ignoring other things that happened in the show to make whatever point they were trying to make about wokeness. So, like, while I think I would say I enjoyed the She-Hulk show more than Moon Knight, for example, I think the reaction to Moon Knight was more generally positive, whereas She-Hulk was divisive, which happens to be the case with almost any show that's led by a woman who talks about issues related to gender and stuff like that. But okay, so that was 2022. We have not seen Jennifer Walters since then, which is odd, because most of the other Marvel Cinematic Universe characters that were introduced before that, even like Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight, who didn't get another season for his show yet, and is probably in a Midnight Suns movie that might come out in the next couple of years, like even he showed up on the What If show. Kamala, who had her own show the same year as She-Hulk, was also in the Marvels, was also in the Marvel Zombies show. She was on the weird cruise ship movie. Like, it is kind of odd, considering She-Hulk is a part of the cinematic universe. She defends Wong and the Abomination. She hooked up with Daredevil, and she didn't show up on Daredevil Born Again Season 1. And I'm sure there would be people that would say, well, yeah, tonally it just wouldn't work. Sure, but you do kind of expect we'd at least hear about her. And there's no second season of She-Hulk that's been announced, even though I would love it. I will say, there was concept art leaked for a lot of future stuff. I'm not going to show it because A, it's like leaked concept art, and B, it might spoil things that happen in the movies and shows, but all I'll say is She-Hulk was in at least one of the images. So if that was real, and we have no confirmation of that, but like, I don't know, just based off of seeing it, it feels real. Like, there is a plan to have her come back in something in the future. I'm not going to get into specifics, but like, let's say maybe it was Secret Wars, because that's a project that you would just kind of expect everybody might show up in. Like Moon Knight might show up in Secret Wars. Who knows? We barely know anything about what that movie is. But so Tatiana Maslany, for a while, has been pretty quiet about it, which makes sense because that's how these Marvel actors usually operate. Even if they aren't a thing and it's been leaked and there have been images, they will still say till the very end, like, I'm not in the Spider-Man movie. I don't know what to tell you. So like, we're used to, as fans of the things, not getting information from the stars, which is fine. I enjoyed the surprise, but it does get a little bit confusing when you have someone like Tatiana Maslany who's playing a character, She-Hulk, that I really like, and you're like, are we ever going to see her again? And all she can say is, I don't know, we'll see what happens. I'm not positive. And you're like, I think that means maybe she will show up in the future, but also, if she wasn't, that's probably what she would say. But anyway, this got way more complicated when last year Jimmy Kimmel made comments on his talk show that got Trump really angry, and then Brendan Carr, the head of the FCC, more or less threatened ABC to do something about the show, to pull him off the air.
Frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way.
CBS had kind of already caved in a similar way with Stephen Colbert's show, but at least that was something where it wasn't going to go off for a year. And like, those shows do tend to lose money, so like, it kind of made sense. In this instance, the guy from the FCC was like, ABC should probably stop doing that show, and then that day, there was no Jimmy Kimmel show. And this was the case for a couple of days. Now, eventually it did come back, but for a little while, it was kind of unclear how this was going to go. And one of the things that the people that supported Jimmy Kimmel were doing, the people that supported free speech in general. And if you're like, well, it's not free speech because you can say whatever you want, but then there could be consequences. Yeah, but those consequences can't come in the form of a threat from the government. Anyway, so a lot of people said, oh, you should cancel your Disney Plus account. That's a way to show Disney immediately that like, you are unhappy with what they're doing. Hopefully that will change their mind. It potentially did. There's probably a lot of things that ended up changing their mind about it, but I would not be surprised if the Disney Plus boycotts were a non-insignificant part of that. And some of the stars of the Disney shows were very outspoken about how much they were angry at Disney and how much even some of them wanted people to cancel their Disney Plus subscriptions. And Tatiana Maslany was probably the most outspoken, at least of the Marvel people. She put out a post with a picture of herself that said, cancel your Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN subscriptions. And Tatiana was not alone. Mark Ruffalo, original Avenger, said something similar. And it's just so funny that those two are seemingly the most outspoken politically members of the cast. They just happen to be the two characters that are related and the two Hulk characters. It's like that corner of the universe has a lot of opinions about stuff. She's also called on her fans to boycott Disney because she believes Disney is implicit in Israel's genocide of Palestine. But this Kimmel thing, that's what started the boycott Disney movement for Tatiana Maslany. And there was no information out there that would suggest that Marvel fired her. On one hand, like, she said she didn't want to work with them, but on the other hand, they did go back on the Jimmy Kimmel thing, so I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if she did say she didn't want to do any more of this stuff. I also wouldn't be shocked if some time passed and, like, Mark Ruffalo talked to her and he was like, hey, you know, you do the movie, you get the money, you give it to charity or something, whatever, have fun, do whatever you want to do. And then maybe she stayed on. We also, like I said, don't know for sure she's in any of this stuff, but, like, let's say she was. And, like, I wouldn't say I think she realistically is in or was in Doomsday. If for no other reason than just, like, the Hulk isn't in Doomsday either. And, like, a lot of the Disney Plus characters are not in Doomsday. Kamala Khan, at least as of now, not confirmed in Doomsday. Moon Knight, as of now, not confirmed in Doomsday. The Kate Bishop, not confirmed for Doomsday. So, like, if you are a character who started on Disney Plus, it seems like most of them, if they're going to show up in something, will show up in Secret Wars. It's not to say only those characters will, because, like, obviously John Walker is going to be in Doomsday. But, like, I don't know. That just seems like how they're breaking this down. And yeah, not a humongous Hulk presence in Doomsday. Honestly, if she should have been in something, it probably should have been Brave New World, because that was where all the Hulk characters were. But she wasn't in that either. And in the finale of She-Hulk, Jen is talking to Kevin, the AI that pretends to write all the Marvel movies that I secretly write. And he says,
see you on the big screen.
Really?
No.
But, like, I don't know, that seemed like a joke. But then, a week or two ago, some rumors came out that Tatiana Maslany was going to have a significant role in Avengers Secret Wars and maybe Doomsday, but because she didn't want to work with Disney anymore, that wasn't going to happen. Now, there's no confirmation of this, no denial. It was just kind of left there. This was made a little bit confusing for some people when Tatiana went on the Comedy Bang Bang podcast, and she made a joke about this rumor that had been circulating in the last couple of weeks. I'm going to play the whole clip for you because just reading it out of context, I don't think you get, like, the vibe of what they're saying.
Okay, so you've been on several episodes before where we've talked about how you were fired. What was it? You were fired from Deadpool.
I feel an article coming. It came and it went.
Yeah, it's already out there.
It's out there. I already got
Tatiana accidentally
dragged.
Spilled the beans on an episode before. You were in the Deadpool movie. You got fired by Ryan Reynolds.
Oh,
you sued him.
He didn't like the 2 scenes that I was doing.
Got it.
That I did. So he fired me, and then I got litigious.
Because that's what Jen Walters does.
I was still in character because
never fire someone who plays a lawyer.
No,
Never.
that's right.
Because they know what to do next.
That's exactly it,
from
baby.
the lawyer.
So you took him to court.
I took Disney to court and Ryan Reynolds.
Wow.
But anyway, all that's behind you. You guys settled.
Balls.
You guys settled. You're back in Avengers Doomsday.
Nope. Now,
what's going on?
Disney has approached me to play She-Hulk again.
Okay.
Guys, I said no.
What?
Okay?
What happened?
Wow.
Because I just did. This is the facts. They're out
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
You can
Just
read
tell
the
it-
articles about it.
Tell us what happened.
I was really mad at them for letting me sue them. For kicking me out of the movie. I was just mad. I was just general. I'm just
They took Ryan Reynolds' side on the movie.
Woke feminist stuff.
Yeah.
And
You were upset at them trying to shove the woke agenda down on our throats
I was mad. Yeah, honestly.
with your casting.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, how dare you cast a woman in this role? That's disgusting. I'm embarrassed to even be here. Yeah.
So
they
came to you. They wanted you to be the
They
star of
really
Doomsday?
wanted me to be a Doomsday Avengers style.
And you just said you flat turned them.
I
turned them down.
turned them down.
Wow.
You said no. I'm in Star Trek now.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is crazy. And this is the
episodes.
first time this is coming out. This is the first time you're
No, this
confirming
came out. This came
out already, but
Yeah.
you're confirming it.
I'm confirming it here. Yeah.
I didn't know you
Incredible
turned
stuff.
it down. We maybe should have put you in more episodes.
You put me in a lot of episodes.
So here it is a joke. They're continuing a bit that they did before, where she was joking about rumors that she had been fired from Deadpool and Wolverine, but because there were new rumors, they did that with Doomsday and Secret Wars. The trouble with this is, if you just read it, it can maybe seem like she is confirming the rumors. But even though it's a joke, she's not denying them either. Even though she's clearly being sarcastic, it could still be true that she's not in these movies. And she's just making fun of what the rumors are reporting. So a lot of people came out reading just this Comedy Bang Bang interview and I think got the wrong impression. But I do think it's important to say, this is not a denial of the rumors. This is just not a confirmation. And like, you could have a lot of reasons why she doesn't want to do it. Maybe it's because of Jimmy Kimmel. Maybe it's because of the support for Israel. Maybe it's because she just doesn't like doing them. Maybe she did a season of the show and she's like, yeah, this isn't really fun for me. Maybe it's because she doesn't like being the subject of a million YouTube videos with a thumbnail where she like makes a silly face that say like worst writing ever. It's like, those are all valid reasons. They also maybe just didn't want her back in it because they were like, we got a lot of characters. People aren't going to be too bummed about missing She-Hulk. I personally would be. And I do think there's something to She-Hulk about like being an Avenger that a lot of these other characters who are showing up in this Avengers movie aren't really. The Red Guardian isn't really an Avenger. And like Avengers movies become this bigger thing where it's like, that's just the big team up movies of everybody. But like a big part of Jen's career was as an Avenger. So like, I would like to see her in an Avengers movie. The character deserves to be there, which leaves us with like 2 options, maybe. And also, I didn't realize this until I started like writing this stuff down. She's on a new show that is a Star Trek show, which means it's on Paramount Plus. I'm not going to pretend like I have a list that ranks all the streamers in terms of like which ones have done the most politically objectionable stuff, but I can pretty much guarantee Paramount Plus, CBS would be at the top of that list. Everything they've been doing with Barry Weiss and 60 Minutes and then the Stephen Colbert show, like they've been so complicit in what this administration is doing, and she's doing this show. Maybe she's like given up on that in the future, but that makes me think like maybe Tatiana Maslany just went, you know what, they're all bad. I'm going to do my best to be in the movie, represent this character well, and like do good things with the platform. That is an option. Also, She-Hulk's a meta character like Deadpool where she can break the fourth wall. She did it long before Deadpool. It would be kind of funny maybe if she brought this up. She'd show up in a scene, everybody would be like, oh, She-Hulk. And then she like, turns to the camera and be like, yeah, I didn't think I'd be in this either, but like that private island isn't going to buy itself, so here we are. But okay, so that's option 1. She comes back, she's in Secret Wars, maybe even Doomsday. And like, I think her being in Doomsday could be like a really, really small part. I think the characters that they announced are the main characters of Doomsday. I'm going to say this and then like in 12 months, I'm going to be so wrong. But like, it feels like they are the ones who are definitely going to be in the movie as like main characters. I think we will get like little asides where we see other characters that were not part of the chair video. And I think like she could be one of those just for a second. Maybe there's like a big fight between her and the X-Men and we see like in the background, She-Hulk is like fighting Strong Guy or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be a good fight too, because like he's fought the Hulk and he can take a hit or two from the Hulk and then, you know, hit the Hulk back, but like he has his limits. Anyway, and this is all assuming that this movie is about the Avengers fighting the X-Men. Who knows? But like that could be it. So like she could show up in these. That'd be great. As long as she's okay with being part of a Disney production, which like, listen, on one hand, I get having a principled stance. On the other hand, it is hard to find a company making big movies in a way that is completely ethical. So like, I would completely understand. I don't think people would like hold it against her if she went back to She-Hulk. I mean, certain jabronis would definitely hold it against her. But I think most people would go like, yeah, you know what, change your mind. Okay. Option 2 is maybe she's not in it at all. Like there's just no She-Hulk. You take a different character who can kind of do the things that she was doing. Maybe like Gamora or Nebula and you have her in that role. I think this is the worst option. I don't think they should do this because I think the character of She-Hulk, like I said, should be in an Avengers movie. I think the She-Hulk show is great, but I also think she's a really fun character who can show up in a lot of different things, right? She was on the Avengers. She was on the Fantastic Four. Has an interesting relationship with Daredevil. She's dated a couple of characters that we may see in the future. And obviously, like Matt Murdock, she is one of those characters who is a lawyer that the superheroes sometimes call. It's like Peter Parker might call Matt Murdock, but like Wong, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, they would probably call Jen. Because like in the world of the comics, she's the higher profile lawyer. Also, technically, according to one of the issues, Captain America at least thinks she's the better lawyer out of the two between her and Daredevil. So, you know, take it up with him. But then there's the third option, and that is recast her. I think if Tatiana does not want to do these anymore, I think that's totally fine. It's up to her. I do think they should recast this role. Well, I really like Tatiana Maslany. She's not the only person I think that could ever play She-Hulk. This isn't like a filling the shoes of Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man kind of situation where like nobody's really going to measure up. Like, I think you could find other actors that would be able to do something fun with it. And like, I think if they wrote her into this and like she had a significant role, I don't want the Russos and McFeely and Waldron to have to change what they're doing because maybe that'll make the movie worse. Maybe She-Hulk just really totally works. I've heard people throw around names like Allison Brie, Allison Williams, Monica Barbaro, Haley Lou Richardson, Daisy Ridley. I think there's plenty of actors that could fill that role. Not that I think they'd necessarily do it better than her. I think they'd maybe even do it a little differently, and I think that could be fun. But I think the lesson I'm hoping Disney takes from this, because this video is not for Tatiana Maslany. I mean, you're welcome to watch it, and obviously if you've gotten this far, then I feel like you probably got better things to do with your time, right? There's no way. But for Disney, like, if Tatiana does not want to do it, if you cannot, say you're sorry enough and give a big enough dump truck full of money, then recast her. Don't let this character die, because She-Hulk is a very unique Marvel Comics character. There are very few other characters that are both taken seriously in the books, like have been a big part of the Avengers, like I said, the Fantastic Four, the Hulk's friends. Very few characters have done that and had their own book that is a comedy. And some of She-Hulk books play it a little bit more seriously, but like most of them are light, slice of life, action comedy books, usually very silly, a lot of gimmicks and like different co-stars coming in for one book and leaving. But like there aren't Wolverine comics like that, or like Doctor Strange comics. Even other women like Captain Marvel or Spider-Woman who have had their own solo book, I wouldn't say any of them kind of have the same vibe as She-Hulk. Even when you take away the comic awareness thing, she's a very unique kind of character. I would say the closest thing I could think of to like a She-Hulk book are the books that are currently being made about the Gotham City Sirens. This is Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman. There are a couple of team books, usually written by Leah Williams. I feel like they have a similar energy, but like it's rare. We have plenty of goofy sidekicks and plenty of characters like Thor who are goofy and people don't like it. But I think with She-Hulk, like that's why she works. So like, what do I think happens so that we can all look back on this video in a year and laugh? I think based on the Comedy Mag Bang appearance, she either has not made up her mind yet, and then that's fine, or she's deflecting and she has made up her mind and she has signed on for one of these. I will say her IMDb is quite busy. She has a lot of projects in development. And, some of them are short, so they're not huge commitments, but like some of them are series. She could be quite busy. Maybe she doesn't have time for it. Maybe that's where the prioritizing comes in. She's like, this just isn't what I want to do. But I think for like 3 reasons she'll come back. 1, most people come back. Plenty of actors have said things about Disney and have been way more like unfriendly to the whole process and have made appearances back in Marvel stuff. Wesley Snipes very famously seems like he never wanted to work with Ryan Reynolds again, and he got in tons of fights and made the set of Blade Trinity really weird. He came back. We have not seen a situation yet, as far as I know, where an actor has just fully said, like, I will not come back for this because, like, I don't want to do it. Outside of, I guess, Edward Norton, but then they just recast him, which is what you do. That's why, reason 2, I think Mark Ruffalo being, like, the closest thing She-Hulk has to a peer in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like he's super liberal. Like if I were in one of these actors' shoes, Mark Ruffalo, maybe like Don Cheadle also, feel like very principled. They like taking political stands. So like if they're out, I would be out. If they're willing to stick with Disney, I wouldn't necessarily like definitely stay with Disney, but like if they were still there, I would talk to them, see what their reasons are. If they're good reasons, I would stay too. And then the third reason, again, it's not like Tatiana Maslany is not doing anything anymore, not working with any big companies. All these enormous production companies, like the big streamers, all have some badness. Like she's currently on a TV show for Paramount Plus, and they are, I would say, without a doubt, the worst one. She's also on a new Apple TV show that's coming out. And I'm not trying to make the case like, if she doesn't come back for Doomsday, she's a hypocrite. I'm just saying, like, if she quit all of those shows and was like, I'm not doing any of these anymore, then I'd be like, yeah, she probably isn't coming back for this. But the fact that she's still on those makes me think maybe she is coming back. The thing about this one, too, is if it is a secret, and if she's supposed to keep it a secret, we probably won't know for a while, because they have not done a chair video for Secret Wars, and they probably will keep that until after Doomsday, because there's so much stuff about Doomsday that we just don't know yet. So listen, if she's happy with it, I hope she sticks around, because I like She-Hulk, and I think she's a good She-Hulk. But if not, I'm sure someone else could do it. And in general, I think comic fans, Marvel, DC, honestly seems like Marvel's kind of learned their lesson with this. Like, we should be okay with recasting in almost every case, because I think losing the character because the actor cannot or doesn't want to play that character anymore can really mess with the overall stories and is a bummer for fans, especially like young fans who look up to that character. I don't know how many of those She-Hulk has, but like probably some. And this is not a perfect company. Besides all of the ethical stuff, they also have just had a bunch of eras that didn't work very well for them. There's a video made by Lindsay called Let's Compare and Contrast Disney's Flop Eras, talking about this enormous company, Disney, with all of this history and the ups and downs that comes with. In the video, Lindsay looks at the downs mostly, because we remember the ups from Disney, like the golden age flying high, like hit after hit after hit. But every so often, things fall apart and Disney needs to reset. So in this video, Lindsay looks at how all those different periods of Disney failure came to pass. And like, if we've learned anything, it just goes to show you any movie can be a success and any movie can be a failure. It's super funny, and you can watch it exclusively on this video's sponsor, Nebula. You guys have heard me talk about Nebula before. It is a subscription streaming service that I helped to create. A bunch of us video essayists, and I don't like call myself a content creator, but like content creators got together and were like, hey, these platforms we have to work with, they're great, but they have some problems. And the big one is we wanted to just make great videos, give them to you guys. We wanted to make a nice, clean, well-organized place where you can go to watch all of our videos. They all go up early, so every Nando V Movies video and Nando Cut video go up early. They're all ad-free. You can download them to your phone, which is a feature I don't hear nearly enough people talking about, but is incredibly useful. Like if you don't want to have to eat up all your data or deal with the Wi-Fi at the gym or something, download some videos. You'll have them with you. Also, this is a thing that wasn't a concern when we started Nebula, but has become a concern when talking about the other platforms is, I don't know about you, but when I jump onto other platforms, I am flooded with AI. We were talking about it just now in regards to the Thor trailer. Like, it is everywhere, and it makes finding information, especially useful information, really, really difficult, because you don't know if it is being made by a person, and if it's not being made by a person, A, you don't want to support it because AI is bad, but B, like if you're trying to learn something or get some information, AI just makes stuff up. So like I have gone to so many videos trying to learn things about comic book characters that I kind of know some stuff about, but don't know everything about. Like, oh, I want to get brought up to speed on like the full story of Cable or something like that. And just immediately you hear something, you're like, that's not true. Oh, this is AI. Okay. Yeah. Ignore that. The videos on Nebula are all made by real people, and that didn't used to have to be a selling point, but now I think it might be the best selling point. There's also all kinds of cool videos you can only find on Nebula. Like Lindsay makes videos almost exclusively for Nebula. One of her most recent videos was about Bluey adults, and the one after that was about dash cam footage. So it really covers a pretty wide spectrum of things. Then you've got short films like Patrick Williams' Dinner Plan, or series like Maggie Mae Fish's Amy's Dead End Dreamhouse. And you have what we haven't like fully announced, but will be coming out sometime next year, our show Subliminal. It's our first like dramatic series. I wrote an episode. I think it's pretty good. I've seen parts of it now because it's like coming together and been edited and all that, and like it looks great. I can't wait for you guys to see it. If you want to support us, give us more opportunities to do cool stuff like that, and you want to see our videos early, ad-free, download them and see other creators on Nebula, because all of your favorite creators and your next few favorite creators are on Nebula right now. Like, there's something for everybody. And a yearly subscription to Nebula is $60 for a whole year. That is $5 a month. But if you go to go.nebula.tv/thenandocut, or the link in the description, or you use the QR code, you can get a year of Nebula for just $30. That is $2.50 a month. It is an incredible deal. And if you want to check Nebula out on your own, sign up for a 3-day trial. I guarantee you will find something you like. Again, that is go.nebula.tv/thenandocut.